Good morning. Hope you're doing well. It's going to be a slow start today because we had to make a last minute change to 9:30. So for those of you that are up already on the West Coast, bless you because it's early. Well, it's not early for me, 6:30 for you guys, but some people don't like to get up early. So thank you for joining us. I would like for you guys to really send out some messages right now on Facebook and let people know we're starting early. For you that are joining us and like, why in the world is he doing this at 9:30? He always does it at 10:30. And yes, we have always done it at 10:30 Eastern. But our wonderful new CEO, Travis Garza, is for the next few weeks. I don't know how long he's going to do it, but at least for the next few weeks, for a month or so, on Wednesdays, every Wednesday at 10:30, our leadership, QSSCs and above, are invited to a call with him to talk through what's going on with our digital transformation and our support structure to handle all that process as we get back, if we move from the old and move into the new in a perfect way. So I just want to let you know that's why. And only one person answered my question about who your college football team was. It was Jean, and she said UT. I'm assuming she means University of Texas, and she means that they're ranked number one, because if she's doing what I said and rating them on a scale of 1 to 10, surely she doesn't think they're a 1. But I know what you mean, Gene. So we're going to have a great football game Saturday night. The Dogs and the Horns are going to play. But you got to be careful with UT around the South, because some people will think it's Tennessee. Anyway, I think you mean Texas, and y'all have got a great team this year. So warm up the algorithms. Share with the peeps that are that you want to listen to this call, either live or playback, because we'll have it recorded. And I'm going to get, I think Trey's on here with us. Trey, can you give me a thumbs up if you're here? I think Trey Bowden has joined us. He should be on here with us. So I'm going to get Trey. We'll have this full version on Facebook, and then we're going to have a trimmed version, hopefully on YouTube, and maybe even on our website. That's like just a trimmed down training version, because I'm really excited about what we're going to talk about today. Okay, there's Trey Bowden. He's here. I knew he was. I knew he'd be there. But we're going to talk about three-way calls. Okay. Kurt, you video needs to be reset. I guess he means your video, not you video. Okay, so I can reset my video. Is it okay now, Trey? Are we, before I start, you said there we go. So Jessica is telling me who her team is. She's the Nittany Lion. Jessica, does my video look okay to you? I think Trey said we're good. Trey, one more time. Did I get the video straight? We good? Okay. He just texted me. Let's see here. Okay, we're okay now. Full screen looked weird. Okay, awesome. So we're back to talk about our special training topic today. And you saw me kind of tease you in our in a live that I did this morning, and in the promo, the description, that it's the number one business tool that I've used for over 35 years. And that may not mean a lot to you guys, but it'll be 37 years that I've been in this business in January. And that feels like, it's longer than I've been, longer than I've had kids. It's only 6 months shorter than I've been married to my beautiful wife, Lori. Way over half my life has been invested in this amazing company. And I had to learn how to do it. I had never done anything like this before in my life. If you play a sport, you learn how to put your glove on the ground so the ball doesn't go under it. If you're playing baseball, you got to, shift your weight and hit the ball. You got to, use your legs to, when you're a pitcher, you're really using your legs for your power, not your arm, which is kind of deceiving. But you learn skills and talents that help you be better at whatever task you're doing. And I think usually those skills may change over time. as things modernize and as technology changes, you'd say, well, what's your most important tool today? And I can honestly say, beyond any shadow of a doubt, that the number one tool that I learned 36 3/4 years ago to build my business, and that I did use to build my business, it's the same tool that I do use every day today, and it's the number one tool I would use if I was starting over. And you may say, well, Kurt, you're old and you don't really know or understand technology. If you only knew the gadgets that are within 3 feet of me right now, and understood that I've had everything Apple since 2007 when the first iPhone came out, and I haven't had a Windows in my house since then. I'm a gadget nut. I love technology, but I love people more. And the tool I'm going to explain to you today, you can see it on the screen by the title, it's three-way calls. But I think we blow it off, and you don't think about it. But let me tell you something. That tool, it worked when I got in this business, and all I had was a fax machine and a pager and a payphone, because I could not afford the big, what do they call those things? The phones that were in the bag phones. I ran a big bag. You threw them in your car. If you had them in your car, you had to put an antenna on the back for better reception. I couldn't afford one of those because it was like $1 a minute. So I had a roll of quarters in my pocket, and somebody would page me, and I'd go to a payphone and call them back. And we put all our orders in on a fax machine. That was my first business expense. I spent $2,400 to buy my first Fujitsu fax machine and put it on a 24-month payment plan. $100 a month. That's how I put all my orders in. But three-way calls was the way I built my business. Those tools supported me. Then it went, then we could email stuff, we could scan stuff, and now we have a digital portal, and we have social media, and we have websites, and all those things do our business for us. But you know what? The same thing those tools are our support tools. But I used the same tool to build my business that I did 36.5 years ago, and that's the three-way phone call. And I want us to dive into that for a minute. There are lots of options today, and I think the natural inclination would be, well, Kurt, if you're going to build your business today, show me the modern way to do it. And Trey is funny. When we close our podcast, we do a new podcast. You should check it out. Life is what you make it. It's on, you can go to makealife.com/podcast and see it, but see the details of it. But when we close, Trey always says, Kurt, where can they find you? And I'm like, well, if you type in @KurtBeavers anywhere, I was early enough to get in on all these platforms. Yes, I'm old, but I was a grandpa teaching my teenagers how to use their iPhone. I'm just that into technology. Well, I don't have any teenage grandkids, sorry. But I was a dad teaching my teenage kids how to use an iPhone, and my grandchild now, she loves to play with my Apple Watch. So that's the big thing. But there are so many tools today, and you have to kind of meet people where they're at. And, once people are engaged in our system, like if someone becomes a partner, I want them on Voxer because it's a communication tool that we use. I want them on boards because I can disseminate information to them. And if you're a partner with the Juice Plus company and you're not using Voxer and boards, you're missing out on a lot of information. So ask your upline about how you can get plugged into boards and how you can get plugged into Voxer, okay? But there are all these tools and resources. But what I really understand is when you're building your business, you're trying to introduce this amazing product, Juice Plus, which changes lives. Literally changes the health of families. Flooding your body with fruits and vegetables every day, you and your kids, it's the number one most researched nutrition product in the world. So, it changes lives. Our business changes financial futures. But if you're going to do that, as you grow, you have to introduce our product and our business to new people. And are you going to make a new person download an app before they can communicate with you? Are you going to make them talk to you through Instagram or DM you or whatever? Or are you going to find out, okay, let me give you an example. So we're trying to find common ground here, how we can reach people when there's so many channels that we deal with in life right now. I mean, that's what I asked you in the beginning. Think about all the people you'd love to be on this call, all the people you want to hear this message, and you're probably going to reach out in 10 different channels. I'd love for you to tag them right here in the post so they can find it easy. Go ahead and put their names, in the comments. But some of you are going to text, Voxer, email, DM, PM. You're going to Facebook Messenger. You're going to reach out to people in a zillion different ways because that's how many channels we have. But we have to find the lowest common denominator. And I remember very vividly when our church really wanted to be able to reach the Muslim population and evangelize in that arena of the world, we had to find common ground. And one of the things we did was we tried to find out where could we come together and find a common place. Lo and behold, their book and our book were contradictory in many ways, but we found out that their book, the Quran, said Jesus is the Messiah 14 times. And if you could start at a place that they were already comfortable with, you could meet them easier. So let's talk about that from the perspective of a three-way phone call. Don't worry about all the other high-tech ways you can reach people. What is something that everybody has either in their pocketbook, their pocket, or in their hand all the time, or on their nightstand within 12 inches of their body 24 hours a day? It's their phone. So why would you not use the phone first to establish that initial communication and reach out and touch that person versus trying to schedule a time when you and two other people can be in front of a video camera, satisfactorily dressed so that you look amazing, the right amount of makeup, your hair's combed, the dog's not barking, the baby's asleep, and I've got the right amount of light, and my camera's working, my mic's working. Why would you try and make all that work to speak to a prospect about our amazing product and business when you just pick up the phone? And whether they're in line at carpool, they're at the gym, they're picking up kids, they're at home sitting on the couch, they're in the backyard, walking the dog, whatever, usually their phone's right there with them and they don't have to make any preparations to make that call with you. Because we're in the business of relationships. We're not really in the business of passing on information. That's part of it. But we're in the business of relationships. And just remember that you're in the business of talking to people, sitting with people, relating to people. A hug around somebody's neck, a high five to congratulate somebody. We're in the relationship business. And we're in a generation where people want to use their thumbs instead of their lips. And people want you to use your lips and your ears. They want to look at your eyeballs to make big decisions. And it's so true. Okay? All right. Now, this may age me a little bit. I remember, there are things that I remember. I remember wanting a Camaro when I turned 16. I didn't get it. I got my granddad's pea green Chevrolet Caprice Classic that he'd smoked in for 10 years. But Trey and Beth, they're close to the same vintage age-wise. They said this was the bomb. Does anybody know what this is? Oh, Jessica says she had one of those. This was like in the day and age of the touch-tone telephone. This was like the cat's, evidently, and Trey can salivate for us in a comment telling us how bad he wanted one of those in his day. But this was the bomb phone everybody wanted to have. Okay, Jessica's 52. I'm 61. So this was like, maybe I was already on to the next gizmo, being 9 years ahead of Jessica. So she had one of these. Okay, so this is a touch-tone phone. And if you remember, this feature that we all have taken for granted today called three-way calling, when I got started in the business, it was one of those add-on features. You had a landline, and if you were cool like Jessica, your phone looked like this. But you had a landline, and you got basic, what they call touch-tone service. And you could add features. And three-way calling was a feature you could add. And I paid $10 a month to have three-way calling on my phone. That was kind of like right now, a lot of people may not know what DocuSign is. It's, it's a way you can digitally sign a document. You have to explain it to them, show them how to use it. That's the way three-way calling was when I got in this business. People didn't know what it was. Some didn't have it on their phones, and it was a little bit more laborious of how you connected somebody on a three-way call. So you had to, not only did you have to have the feature, but some of you have seen these insurance commercials. This is an older dad, granddad showing the younger generation like what a cell phone is. But we had to teach people how to use three-way phone calls. I mean, today you have to just worry about scheduling and getting people on the call. But it was so important to me to use this feature. I spent a good bit of my time teaching my team how to use it. Like I might teach somebody today how to go live on Facebook or whatever. It's crazy. So we had to teach people how to use the feature. And but the main purpose is the feature's there. We had it way back in the day. It was harder to use. It's so easy to use now. It's become so commonplace now. It's almost the Gen Zers and the younger generation. Oh, don't do a three-way phone call. That's old school. Get them on a video call. Great. How well are you doing at getting prospects on these video calls and scheduling them like you want to? Are you getting 10 a week on the call with a mentor, an expert? Or is there this pause and hesitancy that you can't just pick up the phone and call them because they may be in the middle of something and won't get on camera and it doesn't work, okay? I'm not saying once you connect and they have this strong desire to grow and build and learn, they'll get on video calls 24/7 with you. But for them to check out something new, to meet somebody new, the phone is the lowest common denominator and it works so much better. But the key to a successful business is learning how to leverage your relational capital. And just so you know, there's a link there at the bottom. Trey can type it in a little bigger for you. Makealife.com/memory jogger. If you don't understand how to create a memory jogger, which is who you're going to get on these three-way phone calls, and you've never done that before, you need to stop this video. If you're listening to it in playback mode, stop it and go make you a memory jogger and come back and finish. It's that important. Okay, so you need to have a memory jogger and a list, and it's dynamic. It grows, it changes. You meet new people every day. It's not, oh, I did that when I got started. No. Did you update it this week? Did you update it yesterday? That's what I want to know, okay? All right. So here's what a three-way phone call looks like. We're going to spend a little bit of time on this slide right here. So the top of this triangle is you. You're the new partner wanting to build your business, or the seasoned veteran wanting to build your business, either one. And there are two other roles that I want you to think about right here. You have on the left side, from that memory jogger, you have lots of prospects. And some of them might be somebody you met on an airplane that there's not a trust relationship with yet. But I would say for the most part, most of the people on that list are in what I put in a category of warm market. I mean, you know them somehow. If you picked up the phone and said, hey, this is Susie, they're not going to say, Susie who? They're going to know who you are. So there's some connection. There's some level of trust that you and that person have. And then the other relationship you have is with, maybe it's your sponsor, your upline, the upline national marketing director, leadership above you, but it's the mentor, the expert in this business that works with you to support you and help you. They have embraced your goals with you, and y'all are on a mission together. And what you need to do, because you're learning and growing and you need that third-party credibility, third-party validation, is somehow you need to get prospect to meet mentor. Because if prospect could hear mentor talk, prospect could hear mentor's story, fireworks are going to go off. But the question is, how do you do that? Because what's going to happen is that mentor, the bottom line, the baseline of that triangle, you can see, whereas you had trust with your prospect, support and trust with your mentor, probably we could add trust there. But the prospect and mentor, the mentor is bringing expertise to the table to share with that prospect. Okay? And it's not your job in the beginning to explain everything. people know when you start something new, you're learning. They'd rather you have an expert help you and give them the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth than you not wanting to feel inadequate and making up stuff. Because that's what we do. When we're excited about something and we're in sales mode and you are talking to somebody that you want to join you to buy your product or service or join your team, the last thing you want to do is to look like you don't know the answers. So why not learn and earn at the same time? Don't go through Juice Plus University and watch 4,000 YouTube videos and attend, 5 Zoom meetings a day and listen to 10 conference calls and read 1,000 documents before you're ready to get started. Now, your learning curve is much better, OJT, on the job training. And I'm showing you right now how you can learn and earn at the same time. Learn while you earn. Don't learn, then earn. Okay? Learn while you earn. Don't learn, then earn. That's a great motto for this business. So you're going to set up this call, okay? So let's talk about what that's going to look like just a little bit. Let me back up one second. So in this call, I was thinking there was one more graphic, but there's not. In this call, let me talk about the roles you're going to play, okay? This call might not happen if you worried about what you had to say. If you're brand new, I have no idea what I'm going to say. I don't know how to do these 3-way phone calls. I've never done them before. People are going to think I'm crazy. Nobody's going to want to join me on a 3-way call. What do I say? You're overthinking it. Your job is not to sell Juice Plus. Your job is not to be the expert. Your job is to play matchmaker. So you're going to call prospect Sammy, and you're going to say, Sammy, you have got to meet Kurt. Let's pretend like I'm your mentor, your expert. You've got to meet Kurt. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn here. I'm just going to tell you how this thing is. The Kurt could be any leader in this example, but we're just going to use me because I can pick on myself. So you're going to say, Sammy, you've got to meet Kurt. I'm so excited about this business that I'm in. I've told Kurt a little bit about you, and I want you to meet him because he's helping me and he understands exactly what I need to do to build my business. But I think it would be something that would be amazing for you. I'd love for you to hear his story, and he'd love to answer some questions for you and just share with you how our business works or how our product works, whatever the situation is. Kurt's written a book. He's built his business in all 50 states and 20 countries around the world. He really does this business so that he has time to be available to his family and to do ministry. And this business has given him an income where he doesn't have to trade hours for dollars the rest of his life. I want you to meet him. Is there a time? I've got access to his calendar. If you give me some times, I can block one off on his calendar where we could spend 15 minutes together. So you build me up on the moon, the expert, and sell that person on how bad you want them to meet me. And you've already called me and said, Kurt, Sammy's going to be a great addition to our team. She loves the product. She's a health nut. She knows a zillion people. And she's kind of the gatekeeper to the whole children's rec league in our area. All of our kids play sports, and she knows everybody. And so we set the call up. We're going to talk about how to do that in a minute. And then when you get on the call, you're gonna introduce Sammy to Kurt and Kurt to Sammy, and you're gonna like introduce them so well that both of them think the other person lives on the moon. And all of a sudden, you've elevated both of them so they're both on the moon together, and you're just going to let them talk. Okay? Now let's unpack that for a minute. So you don't have to do anything but play matchmaker to set these calls up. So how do you invite somebody to be on one of these calls? Let's talk about that for a second. The how of the 3-way call. So what you got to think about, what's the prospect going to experience? And we'll get into the different types of calls, but they're going to learn about Juice Plus. Maybe they've got some questions that your expert could answer. Maybe it's about pregnancy. Maybe it's about children taking the product. Maybe it's about cardiovascular question about the product, something they have a question about, fiber in the product, whatever. So they're going to learn about the product if that's the goal. They're going to hear someone else's story, third-party validation, and they're going to find that there's confidence in what they're going to find confidence in what you're doing because you have a team that supports you. And we just talked about what's your role on the call: introduce, prospect, and mentor. One thing I didn't mention is to when you introduce them, put them both on the moon. You're going to say, "I can't wait for Kurt, Sammy, to share with you a little bit about what this product's done for his family and how they've taken this business and built something that's affected their family for generations." Boom. And you're going to listen, learn, and affirm. Or as Jay Martin says, listen, learn, and be my amener. You know, if the mentor's on there and he says, you know, yeah, my kids have get it free through our Healthy Starts, and all my kids have gotten to college tuition reimbursement, and you're going to say, amen. You're going to say, yeah, my kids love getting it for free. I love it. It's so great for our family budget. We get it for free. So whenever there's an opportunity, you just jump in and offer affirmation or an amen. Not literally. You could say amen. Because what is amen? You might know. You know what it means? This is so cool. When you ask somebody, amen, they think it's some kind of like massively religious, super spiritual word. And when we use it in prayers and stuff, it is. But all it really means is, it means so be it. The word amen means so be it. You remember that. So if you want to say amen, that just means so be it. Yes, make it happen. So you can say that even in a secular setting because it's just a word in another language that means so be it. Let's talk about how you schedule the call. So we talked about the invitation. We talked about the layout of the call right here. That's the layout of the call. We talked a little bit about the first step, the invitation. And now let's talk about scheduling the call. And, you know, there's so many free tools today. I'm going to kind of insist that you ask whoever's going to be your mentor or expert to help you out. Now, you can make 10 phone calls back and forth, share text messages, post-it notes, you blow kisses in the breeze when you agree that this is a good time, whatever. But there's some tools that can really help you make this tedious process easier. Now, the fact that you're using the phone instead of Zoom in some video call that requires makeup and hairdo and clothes, and all of them require, well, the phone call doesn't require clothes, but I mean, you should have on clothes. But the Zoom call definitely requires clothes. So you have to get dressed, at least from the waist up. And there's an easier way to schedule this. Even the phone call requires a little scheduling, but you can do it anywhere. I use Calendly, Calendly. One of the main reasons that I use that is what it integrates with. They have an iPhone app, and it integrates with the calendar I use because I have Gmail and a Google Calendar, and I use Google Docs. It integrates with all that, so it works well. It checks my calendar. It lets me pick times that I want to be available to do three-way calls. It makes sure that I don't have something scheduled on my calendar that conflicts, and it offers people slots that they can go choose and pick without having to ping me, call me, text me, and us go back and forth to figure that out. Now, the Calendly app costs a little bit. I don't think there is a free version there, but I think to get all the benefit and sync with your Google Calendar, I think you want to pay the nominal fee. Trey told me about one called TidyCal. I think it does just about as much. Trey might want to put some comments in there about if he knows if there's a comparison page or like of any of these apps where you can pick and choose the features. So know that that's an option. And then you can actually use your Google Calendar and send out time options, but it requires a manual. But even though it's not a voice phone call, it still requires manual approval. The Calendly thing can let them go there, schedule it. It sends an email confirmation. You can set it up to send out text reminders, everything, so the call goes through, okay? See how fast Trey is. Trey is absolutely amazing. One day I'm gonna let Trey show his face on here. We'll do a call together. You'll like Trey. But if you really want to meet Trey right now, we're having so much fun on our podcast. He's kind of playing like host and interviewing me, but he has as much contribution and wisdom. We go back and forth on just life issues that make a huge impact today. And I would love to have you, when you're working out, driving down the road, and you got your hands and your eyes focused on something and you want to multitask, grab our podcast and listen to it. I'd love for you to meet Trey. And Trey, are you willing to show your face and do one of these calls with me soon where we can dive in? Maybe, I tell you what, while we're finishing this up, what are some topics that you would like for me to do for my special training? Some of you have heard me at a boot camp in the past, and there's one that you really like. I'm open to doing one I've never done before. We'll go seek and find wisdom and get the principles and teach it to you. And maybe Trey and I can talk about some cool things we do together, whether it's technology, videos, podcasting, online presence, whatever it might be. So he says, show enough. That is Gen Z for yes. Trey can answer that about the podcast. So anyway, put some topics in there that you'd like for us to do for the special training, and we'll try and make those available because I'd love to meet the needs that are out there, okay? So make sure your mentor that you're scheduling and doing these three-way calls with, make sure that they have one of these tools. I think it's fair that if they're a leader and they're going to serve you and help you build your business, that they can offer this to you. And, don't just say, do you have this? Say, if you don't have this, would you get this for me so we can schedule and do three-way calls better, okay? So just go ahead and make that a must. Okay, let's talk about the purpose of the call. This really helps the mentor. So let's just, I see Rhonda Hubbard's on here, and Rhonda and I have done three-way calls in the past. We probably should do some more. I know Rhonda uses three-way calls with her business, but one of the things that would really help the mentor, the prospect obviously is going to know. I mean, they're getting on, you're talking to them, let's say, about the product, and they have product questions. Or you're talking to them about the business, and they don't understand what they have to do to get started, what kind of time commitment, how much money could they make, any of those issues. Or maybe it's a partner that's already in the business, and they're trying to hit a promotion, a deadline, or goal, and they need some training. They have a question about digital transformation. They have a question about, what's the best thing to help me find my 5 people so I can be a national marketing director? Okay? So as the mentor, the expert on the call, it really helps me because let's say I'm doing a call with Rhonda and she's got a buddy that's in one of her classes she teaches at the gym that's super excited about getting in the business. So I say, hey, Rhonda, say, Kurt, she says, Kurt, I'm going to book a call on your calendar with Julie, and she's amazing. And I'll say, well, Rhonda, I can't wait to meet Julie. Tell me, if this could be a win for you, this phone call, what are we trying to accomplish? What does Julie think the purpose of the call is? Because I want to meet her needs. I want to live up to her expectations. So I want Rhonda to tell me, Julie is interested in the business. She doesn't know a lot about it yet. She's intrigued about the availability that I have to do life and the income that I make, and she knows I'm excited about what I do. She's seen me do it for a long period of time and knows the business works, but she's never done anything like this before. Can you just help her understand conceptually what she would need to do to make a little bit of money or make a lot of bit of money, and what kind of time that would take? That's her question. Great. I'll share my story, and I'll dive in and explain to her how it works, and then she can ask me some questions. So because I knew the purpose of the call, I'll have my head screwed on straight, and I'll know what I'm going to do, because the worst thing you can do is schedule one of these calls for Julie, and she thinks she's going to find out about the business, and all of a sudden I get on the call and train her how to do a three-way phone call, or train her how to create a memory jogger, and she ain't even in the business yet. Or it's somebody that really has a question about, what if my kids are allergic to any of the product, or food allergies a concern? And I get on the call and I go right into, well, if you want to be a national marketing director, here's what you need to do. And she was getting on the call to ask me a question about the product and her child. I'm not going to deliver on what she's expecting. So I need to know why Rhonda scheduled that call with Julie so that I can meet Julie's needs. I can best meet Julie's needs and honor her time on the phone. Okay? So does that make sense? So we need to know what the purpose of the call is. And then last but not least, I want you to feel like let's get her done. Let's make these calls. And I will tell you this. As when you sponsor somebody in this business, if I didn't convince you, if I didn't teach you how to do three-way phone calls, but you left this training today with one thing, and that is I must do three-way phone calls if I want the most clear, succinct path to being successful in this business. They are a critical part of my future. So you have to do them, number one. Number two, I want you to get to a point where they're fun, easy, and you can't wait to do your next one. I understand that the first one, it's like if you're a couch potato, that first mile that you jog on your way to doing a 10K or being a successful daily exerciser and running is what you do, running that first mile can seem like a marathon. And I don't know if I want to do this. I'm not even sure I'm going to take the first step and buy a pair of running shoes. I get it. Newness, something new, is hard. It's frustrating. Sorry, I had a tickle in my throat. But we have to do it. So as a sponsor, you may have to make sure the first 2 or 3 happen because they're so timid and naive about what they're getting into in the three-way call concept that they don't think it's going to be fun. They're scared of it. They think, especially the younger generation, come on, Kurt, can't I just use my thumbs? My thumbs are like wicked. Can I just type it? Like, no, you can't. Sorry. If you want me to help you build this business, you're going to get the people you care about on the phone with me, and that's what we're going to do. We can type away once we have that phone call. We can Zoom away once we have that phone call. We can, DM and PM and Instagram and all those things you want to do once we have that phone call. But I want that person that you know that you want in this business. I want you to know that you care enough to get somebody that's been important, that's poured into your life on the phone to share with them, to let them have their questions answered. I want you to make them important enough to do that. And so you help schedule. You're involved as the sponsor. Maybe you make sure that 2 or 3 happen. You don't rely on them to do what we just talked about out of the gate. You make sure 2 or 3 happens, and you're in there on every part of that process to schedule the first 2 or 3. Once you get them to do 2 or 3, they're going to understand. They're going to think it's the best thing that's ever happened in their life. They're so fun. They're so much fun. Okay. So that's going to be an amazing part of your journey. So that's my last part. We talked about, get her done. That's one of my favorite Jeff Foxworthy words. That's a Southern saying for just make it happen. Let's do it. It's Nike is from Oregon, Phil Knight, and theirs is just do it. Well, down here we say get her done. Okay. And, that makes 3 happy faces, 1 on each phone. Okay. Now, I want you to, we're going to look at some other options here, but I want you to take this training that we just talked about, and Trey's going to be able to edit it and get this succinct. He can take the intro out and take this ending out so that we'll have the whole thing, but we'll also have a succinct version of a 3-way call training for you. And it'll be on our website, and Trey can also put it, if you're really trying to find some of our videos, we're trying to do a really good job of putting them on YouTube and creating playlists for different topics. I just saw Trey's post. He said, I'm not a Gen Z. I don't know if that means that he denies that that's the generation that he wants to be a part of, or if I was proclaiming him as too young and he wants to seem more mature and more wise. Okay, you're a millennial. I give you credit. I don't even know where the lines are that stop and end. It's hard to believe that millennials can be 40 now. It's crazy. So we'll have that for you. But check out our YouTube channel if you're trying to find videos. Okay. Now, let's take this concept and bring it into we'll have our Finish Strong call next Wednesday, the 23rd. While we're here for the foreseeable future, all of our calls that were Wednesday at 10:30 are now going to be 10:30 Eastern, are now going to be Wednesday at 9:30 Eastern, just because of our CEO's call during our digital transformation. And hopefully you'll be, if you're a QSSC or above at one of our leadership levels, you'll be on that call here in about 20 minutes with us. So quickly to wrap this up, and that way you've got time for a bio break and refill your coffee cup before we get on with Travis. If you'll use three-way phone calls as your primary tool to build your business, it's probably the best way for urgency to destroy procrastination at the end of the month. Because if somebody gets me on a three-way phone call, I can show somebody legitimately 100% guarantee why it's better for them. It pays them to go ahead and get positioned and do what they need to do before the month ends so that they start next month being paid at a higher level. They want to be in position when the first of the next month rolls around so that they maximize their earnings. They don't want to wait a whole nother month and 3 days. They don't want to bail out on the last 3 days of this month and wait till next month, because that means they're going to wait a whole month before it affects the change in pay. They won't change their pay until the following month, because you have an effective month. That's the month you get positioned and get ready to be paid at a higher level with our company. A qualifying month, you qualify 1 month and the next month is your effective month. So the last week of the month, you can shorten your qualifying period so that you're going to be paid at that higher level beginning of the next month. And if you're new, that's hard to explain. If you're an experienced mentor in this business, it's common sense, and it comes across on a three-way phone call, okay? I don't know how many of you have tried, but we created a power hour on our Make a Life website, because the Empower Hours, there's a power hour, empowerment hour. They're all live. There's a great schedule. They're on the Campbell team boards. But sometimes that schedule doesn't work out, and they're so important to have that focused time. Some of you need that structure to take that 1 hour a day to build your business. We created a recorded version that just sits live on our website that you can pull up and use anytime you want to. I think Trey can throw that link in the comments. But occasionally we're going to do a live one where I'm going to be on there with you live and walk you through what I think are the most high-paying activities for our business. So we're going to do a live power hour, spend an hour together to maximize 1 hour of time to not just be trained on, but actually learn and do the critical activities of our business in an hour of your time. So that's October 30th at 9:30 a.m. Okay, and then, I want to make you know about the Peachtree Boot Camp. Registration opened yesterday. Tickets are selling fast, and they always sell out. So you can wait if you want to and see if you can get a ticket. But if you get a ticket now, you can divide your payments up and you can pay in installments. If you wait, you'll have to pay the full price. It's $155 for the boot camp. And then if you want to come to the leadership session, if you're a sales coordinator or above, we're going to do a special leadership training to kick off the new year, to plan the year, to make it the best year ever. That's going to be on Friday during the daytime before the boot camp starts Friday night. And that's an extra $75 for that, which includes your lunch and the AV and stuff for the whole day. Okay, but go to peachtreebootcamp.com and you can sign up for that. You can do the installments now, or you can wait and see if there's still room later and just pay the full price. Either one you want to do is fine. We just did a video series on boot camps, and it's from two perspectives. It's from an attendee, how do you get the most out of a boot camp? And as a host, how do you put on the best boot camp ever? So that video series is on YouTube, and you can watch that on our website too. Okay. One of the things that's growing is people, I think, are getting a rhythm to their life. That was my goal, to bring that monthly rhythm into our business. And part of that is planning your week. I do it on Sunday nights, and then kick off and wake up Monday morning with a plan and a vision. So every Monday at 6, 7, 8 o'clock, depending on what time zone you're in, you'll get a text from me just with a motivational kind of start the week off. It's not rocket science. It's just a quote, something that I want to share with you that's like, okay, I don't want to let this week happen and see what the world makes of it. I want to be intentional, proactive, and I want to take charge of my week and make it happen. Okay? So if you want to get that text the word wake up to that phone number on the screen, and Trey can put that in the text too if you want him to. If you want him to, do a thumbs up and he'll put it in the text, or you can copy that off the screen, and you can join those texts. And then our podcast, somebody said, where do you find it? makealife.com/podcast. And you can join us. We do 2 a month. It's not frequently. They're about, I would say they're, Trey, how long are they? 20 to 30 minutes maybe? I think we've gone longer on some of them that have been we've had an amazing conversation, but I would say they probably average about 30 minutes, okay? And then we've got our Finish Strong call next Wednesday at 9:30, and then our live power hour on October 30th at 9:30. And like Trey teases me on the podcast, you can find me anywhere at Kurt Beavers. And I totally enjoy doing life with you guys. It's such a blessing. And I hope you have an amazing day. Let's make this month amazing. And I'll see many of you on our Zoom call with our CEO, Travis Garza, in about 20 minutes. Have a great day.